right, so now we're going to move into intensity scales. So we finished with our big color wheel. The last video worked with the idea of a value scale of going from dark to light with a pure color. All right. Now we're going to work with the idea of working with an intensity scale. Remember, intensity means you're choosing a set of colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, whether it's like violet and yellow, or blue, green, and red, orange, or red and green, or blue and orange. Anything that's straight across creates some kind of dulling effect and can produce neutrals or browns of some kind, brown grays. So the same thing that we did the last video, where we took the width of our actual ruler and we drew 9 inches here. So I'm going to keep going with that. I'm going to go up to 9, and then I'm going to do that on the other side of my ruler. Okay, and I'm going to break off here, and we're going to measure out 1 inch markings so that we have 9 boxes like we did last time. Okay, so give me a moment to go marking. Again, with most scales, many times they run like 9s or 10s, pencil scales, value scale, color, intensity scale. We're going to work with that idea of a 9 scale transition, so we can see how the colors can be affected multiple ways. All right, so I'm going to write intensity. So over each box there, okay, see how I wrote the word intensity. Each box is a different letter, okay? On this side, we're going to use one color of our set of complements. So this is the, we'll say, first hue. Okay, I'm going to work with orange and blue. So I'm going to say this side is the orange side. Over here, this is number 2 hue. And this will be my blue. I mean, I could have put them on either end. It's just that the ends, I and Y, are going to house those pure colors. Okay. Now we are going to dull orange 3 times, 1, 2, 3, by slowly adding blue to it, more blue and more blue. Okay. So this is the orange dulling side. Okay, we're going to dull it with blue 3 times. Okay, over here, starting with Y going this direction, these are going that way. Starting with the pure blue over here, we're going to add orange into blue and dull it 1, 2, 3 times. So we're slowly working our way to the center. So this is the blue dull sides. Okay. And then we're left at the very end, this little guy right here. N is going to stand for neutral. This is the neutral mix of both of those guys when they come together at the end. All right. So let's get started. All right, let me get my palette up here. I've got myself my paper towel. I have my fresh little cup of water. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna first get my little tray set up, and see I got my little tray, and I'm gonna put a little bit of, get some of my orange set up, because I'm going to start on the orange side first. So I'm going to start by putting a generous amount of my hue of orange, get it nice and rich, just like if I would have done it on my color wheel. Get it nice and thick and rich. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna rinse out my brush here just a little bit, get some of the excess off of it. All right, so now I'm gonna pull this and I'm gonna paint this right here where I've decided to put my pure orange. Again, one of the things I kind of do is I go along the edge, I drag my brush, drag the brush, so that the brush kind of makes those nice lines, and then I kind of come back in and I fill kind of going the same direction. All right, so we have that set and ready to go. Now, I need to add some blue to this. So I need to get some blue started, right? So I'm going to pull just a little tiny bit of blue from my blue container. And again, I just kind of went dabble, dabble, okay? Get a little bit of blue. I'm going to test it off to the side here. And I'm going to stir that inside of here. Again, I just put like a little tiny bit in there. And look at it. It's already, compared to this, getting dull. Does it look dark? Yes. But we're going to call it a dull because darks mean that we have black in a color. And we did not put black into orange. We put blue in there. So what it's truly doing is getting dull. So I'm going to take this and begin to lay a little bit of this dull color next door. We can see how it's just not that perky orange anymore. Now, since we are working right next to an area that I just painted white, not white, that I just painted with the fresh orange, I'm going to leave a little bit of white space in between those because I don't want these two colors to bleed together, and that's okay. I'm just going to leave a little bit of a gap. You see my little gap there? Okay. Again, I think we looked at this last time that if you have sort of like a pooling at all of color, if you dry off your brush with the paper towel, come back, look at that, it soaks some of it right back up into the bristle and onto the paper towel. So I can kind of bring some of that in. All right, now I'm gonna add a little bit more blue. I'm gonna grab a little bit more. Now I'm gonna put it a little bit over here because I don't want it to get too blue too fast, but I'm gonna stir this in. Now it looks like I'm getting a little thin here on my orange. I might need to add some more of my pure orange hue and then maybe come over here and grab a little bit more blue. Grab a little bit more blue to get me a little bit more dull. I think I'm still gonna need a little bit more blue here. Good. And I'm just being super cautious, you know. I'm just kind of taking a little tiny bit at a time here. All right, now I've got a little bit more. That might have gone a little too far. Can you check that? That's pretty rich. I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna back him up. The good thing is I can bring a little bit more orange in. I can kind of back him up with a little bit more orange. Okay, that looks a little bit easier. All right, so now I'm gonna come in over here. Check out that. We're definitely a little bit richer. Again, I'm gonna get close, but I don't wanna drive right on top of that edge over here because that's where my wet would meet, and wet on wet is grody. It blends together. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that little hairline division between them. Gonna come down, make my corner. All right, pull up any excess that, soak it up there. All right, so notice I'm slowly getting duller. Okay, now we need a little bit more blue. Oh, that went too far. Jen, look at that. That might be a neutral color, but it's definitely not ready for this yet. So I'm gonna pull a little bit more of my orange in. I can go backwards a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna come back to this. This starts to look a little bit brown now, right? So I'm gonna come in here. There we go. So we have a nice slow build in dullness. This is no longer perky orange or pumpkin orange anymore, okay? It has definitely gotten dull, muted, right? Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here. All right, I'm done for this side. Now I need to start to focus on the blue side. So to do that, I'm gonna come down to this end of my tray. Okay, I'm gonna stay away from the other side right now. I'm gonna come down over here. All right, let me move some of this stuff out of the way here so we can come over. There we go. Now, I'm gonna get my blue up and ready because I need a pure area of blue. Getting that revved up. All right, painting my pure blue. Intensities take a slow journey. It's not a quick do, and because you saw how much I went kind of back and forth, back and forth. If you've gone too far, you have to go back. Add more of that original color back in there. Don't kind of assume it's okay, because if you don't kind of take it slow, then you'll get here or beyond too fast. All right, so there is our blue, all perky and happy. And now we need to invade the blue with some orange. Now, keep in mind, blue is a darker color. The general rule for mixing is typically putting the darker color into the lighter color. You'll get there faster. If I put a light color into a dark color, it's gonna take a lot more of that lighter color to make this look different. So I might have to be a little bit more generous with my orange that I put into the blue than when I put the blue into the orange. I had to baby step this side, right? And this side I might have to add a little bit more orange to get the blue to look like it changed. Oh, well there it kind of looks a little bit like it's going to navy. That's crazy. All right, so let's take this definite, no longer Kentucky blue, and we're going to, look at that. It definitely feels duller, or something, again, like I said, that feeling of darkness, but it's not black in there. It's the opposite color, okay? So we have definitely dulled this blue down. It is not happy and peppy anymore, okay? All right, we're gonna do this some more. We're gonna take a little bit more orange, and we're gonna add some more orange over here. I have a feeling I took too much. I'm gonna put a little bit more in. There we go. It starts to get almost plum-like. That's crazy. All right, so we're dulling some more. Look at that, it almost kind of got grayish. So again, some of the neutrals that we talk about might be more gray than brown, right? So this might be one of those cases where we're getting a little bit more grayish feel right now than we are a brown. I need to put some more blue in. I'm kind of losing the thickness or the hardiness of my color. So I want to bring my hardiness back, and then I want to bring some more of this orange in and get us back to, oh no, she just violated her own color thingy. Yes, I did. It's okay, I can clean it off a little bit later here. All right, so now we're getting a little even more muted. All right. Looky there, now it's starting to turn more toward a gray-brown, right? That means there's more orange in here, okay? Brown colors come from warm ones, and so orange being a warm color, it's giving us a little bit more of a warm brown feel. All right, so as I mentioned, the N stands for neutral, okay? So here's what you're gonna end up doing. We want to add this color, which we just painted, to this color, which we painted a little while ago. We want to mix those two together and find a color that's somewhere in between the two of them. So I'm going to grab some of this and bring it over here. I'm going to grab some of this and bring it over here, and we'll find ourselves something that's in between those two together. Isn't that crazy? So this is sort of the ultimate neutral that we can get with these two colors. So here we go. Here's our neutral. Look at that. We have essence of blue, but essence of orange that gives us this brown flavor. Totally interesting. Had no idea it was gonna look like that. All right, so we have ultimately neutralized these two colors, okay? So there we are. We had our 9 set scale. We started with a pure on this side, a pure on the other side over here, right? I just dipped my finger in it. And then we dulled this side over here with blue. Then we slowly dulled this side with our orange and then mixed those two results together to get the neutral in the middle. All right. Now that we are all finished with this large chart, okay, I'm going to ask that you hang this chart up on the fridge, up on the wall at home once it's dry so it doesn't drip on you or anything, and photograph it so you can put it into its digital submission folder. All righty, awesome.